Hi, I'm David Fitch, and I'm trying to become the heaviest person to run a sub 2.5 hour marathon. I decided that I would start making weekly recap videos where I detail what I did in the previous week, what went right, what went wrong, if I followed my meal plans, if I'm making any tweaks to anything, training, diet, whatever, and then also explain what I'm going to do in the week ahead. So this is going to be the first one. It's going to be the weekly recap for the last week, whatever it was. It's May 4th now, so I'm actually a day late on that, but I'm going to explain what I did in the past week, what I plan to do next week, and, until I reach my goal. One of the most important things that I should discuss is that I was supposed to get to 210 pounds and then run a sub 2.5 hour marathon, but I forgot to stop eating at 210 pounds, and I ended up, now I'm between 220 and 225 pounds, so I'm a little bit bigger than I planned on being. But so when it comes to the training, and I'll explain this, it's not really affecting my running in any way. It's not slowing me down. I can run just as fast. I can run fast speeds pretty easily, so I'm not extremely determined to lose weight to get down to 210 after overshooting the weight. So I don't really care if I lose a little bit to get to 210 or if I just stay here at 220. It's not really affecting my running. So that's the good news. I mean, I didn't plan on getting this heavy, but it seems to be just fine for now. But I do have a plan to address the weight issue, so I'm going to try to stay somewhere in this range, between 220 and 230 pounds. Right, as I'll explain later, I do have issues with my bones adapting. That seems to be the biggest limiting factor. So I don't plan on getting any heavier than this, so I'm just going to make small tweaks to my diet plan to keep me at around this weight. So pretty soon I'm going to start taking calories out so I don't shoot over 230. And then if I do shoot over 230, I'll just keep lowering my calories more to prevent me from gaining any more weight. And then vice versa, if I end up losing too much weight and I drop, say, below 220, maybe I'll start eating a little bit more. I'll just add a small meal to my diet plan, and that way I can just keep myself in this range. But I don't really feel a need to get heavier or lighter. I think this is a good range for now. I'll try to stay here, at least for the summer, and then I can make a different plan later on down the road. Now, in terms of my strength, that's going a lot better than expected. Originally when I started with these goals, I felt like I wouldn't be able to get too strong because of the 7 surgeries I had on my elbow that limited my powerlifting early on. But it's not giving me any problems. I'm a lot stronger than I planned on being. I wanted to run a sub 2.5 hour marathon and bench over 400, but I'm almost at 400 now. Like, my guess is above 370. I did 340 for 3, but I also do pauses, slow reps. So my max is probably around 370, close to 400. So the strength is in much better shape than I expected. Don't need much from there, but I just keep getting stronger. I'm eating 5,000 calories a day and lifting every day, so I just keep getting stronger just naturally. So that's in really good shape for now. Now, my running progress is not the worst, but not the best. Now, the issue is that, we went 4 months into the year so far, and I gained about 40 pounds, roughly, maybe like 30 to 40 pounds, which is like 10 pounds a month. So even after I gained the first 10 pounds, which was probably just water weight for the most part, it was hurting my shins. I would get nasty shin splints, and it would just hurt my body really bad. And I just kept gaining weight, and not even intentionally, I just kept eating. So I gained a lot of weight, and now I'm 220 pounds. So every couple months or so, my bones would have to adjust so that I can run again. Otherwise, my shins hurt, my knees hurt. My legs are just in a lot of pain after I run. So the good news is that I'm seeing a lot of progress there. It's getting a lot better. There have been times when I was like 205 pounds and I don't have pain. So they were definitely seeing a lot of progress. Now that I'm 220, initially, yeah, they were hurting a lot. Now they don't hurt that bad. I might be able to actually just run the whole, an hour without really pain, and then it'll just hurt a lot after. So I do think that right now I am a little bit limited, where I'll try running for an hour And I sometimes have to stop running because of how bad it's not that the pain is too bad that I can't run. I just don't believe in running when there's pain, right? If you're feeling pain in your bones need to get stronger. So I'll make sure I feel the pain, but I don't push it too far. Because then when I eat 5,000 calories, I'm hoping that my body will have the resources to adjust, adapt, and make it so I'm better in the future. So I'm still kind of in a weird phase now where my body isn't fully adapted to it, but it's getting there. Pretty soon I think I'll be able to just run as much as I want, and it might hurt a little bit after, but I can do it during. And the shins I think will stop hurting soon. But that was the biggest issue so far. It's definitely the pain in my body because there's so much force going through it, having to run so many miles at 220 pounds. And maybe by the end of my run, I might do 8 miles. So before I would run 12 miles a day or 13 miles a day. Now I might stop at like 8 miles, whatever the plan is, and that's not really an issue. It doesn't kill my energy. I don't have issue with heat dissipation or it doesn't have any other issues. It's just kind of pain in my bones that makes it so I have to stop running so fast. So I am still adapting to that. I'm in much rougher shape than I had hoped. But then again, I gained 40 pounds in maybe 4 months. So I don't really know what I expected to happen. And so this is the plan moving forward. When it comes to the lifting, I'm going to do exactly what I've been doing because it's just going great. I'm eating a lot. I'm lifting a lot. I had minor rotator cuff issues. Just kind of an impingement. So it didn't really affect anything other than overhead pressing. That's how I heard it. So I don't think anything was really injured, just kind of being pinched. So that affected my overhead pressing, but my bench press was still going up, and it didn't hurt when I benched or curled or did anything else. It was just like overhead press, lateral raises, maybe chest flies, things like that. So, but I am also gonna add other changes because my bench is close to 400, but I've never done incline bench or dumbbell bench. I just did flat and machines and stuff like that. So I'm gonna add those, and I think those are gonna help push me a little bit closer to 400. And so that's, other than that, I'm not making many changes. I'm just going to change up the exercises for my lifting. But other than that, everything's looking good. The running plan is going to see a pretty noticeable change, however, because when I was gaining the weight, my body was struggling. I would just stop when my bones were hurting. And again, they weren't hurting too bad, but I wanted to make sure they rest. So then I kept gaining weight. So the change I'm going to make is I know that I'm getting too far down the road at this point. So I have to keep doing my training. So I'm going to force myself to do 2 hours of cardio every day. I'm going to maintain my weight here while doing 2 hours of cardio. And it's going to start with at least an hour or an hour and a half of running, probably an hour and a half, where an hour is more steady, easy pace. Half an hour is going to be difficult things like interval training, where I go faster and it hurts my lungs a little bit more. And then if I have to do half an hour on the bike, that's fine. If my bones are hurting or my legs just want to break, my tendons are sore, my muscles are sore, whatever the case may be, I won't do less cardio time. I'll just spend more time on the bike. I'll do, even if I have to do 2 hours of cycling, that's a lot easier on my body. For how heavy I am, running is a lot of impact, so I can back off of the running a little bit and I can just bike a little bit more. And I still get my cardio in, I still train my heart. It's just less stress on my lower body, the bones, the shins, my knees. And I do want to emphasize that I don't feel like it's a lot of impact on my knees. It's just my bones aren't adapted yet. So other than that, I feel like I'm running light. So I don't think it's going to be an issue, my weight running that fast for that long. It's just my body needs to adapt first. That's all. I also know that we're far enough into the year that I need to get ready for road races. I don't want to be the type of person who just says he can run fast and lift a lot. I want to prove everything in competitions. So when it comes to running road races, I might get into powerlifting also. See if I can do well in both. So to get ready for the road races, I'm definitely going to have to spend at least 3 days a week running in the streets for like half an hour or something, or more. I like the treadmill for the consistent pacing. I do it right after my workout, but I'll do a lot of running on the roads. I don't know how much yet, but definitely I'm going to do at least every other day, running quite a bit outside. And if anyone has comments, concerns, suggestions, criticisms, whatever for my goals, please let me know either in the comments or any other method. I really want as many ideas as possible moving forward. Of course, I've said before, the most important thing is strengthening my tendons and joints. Other than that, I can just run 2 hours a day and I'll get fast in time. But any suggestion helps. I do know one person who was running distances like half marathons at 220 pounds, and he said your body's just going to adapt to it. So that's the good thing. I do believe my body will adapt. But any suggestions that people have, I listen to everything that people tell me. So I don't do it necessarily, but I'll listen to any argument. But anything that'll help me get faster. So thanks for listening.